my channel mammals, guess what? This is very prickly, but I just thought of something I wanted to tell you about. I just walked over these things, and oh, look at them with all the bumblebees on them here. See these? They still have some of their flowers on them, and there's always a little bumblebee on each getting some nectar. Oh, well, look, these I just walked on, and these are called Teasels. I think they grow wild everywhere in America. Hear how rough and rugged they are? Their spikes on here are very sharp. They hurt my fingers. I actually broke this. I can't believe I did it. So I could bring it to show you. But these Teasels, and they also have them in Scotland. And do you know what they call them in Scotland? Can you guess? Teasels. It's the same word. And they grow even bigger. Not much bigger, but fuller. And they're very, very, and they start out like this. They almost look like a little thistle in a way when they have all the purple little petals on them. But guess what they use them for? Even still, in modern times, we used to make tartan, Richard and I, in Scotland, and I was absolutely gobstruck when I saw what they did with Teasels. Now you see, it's so prickly I have to put it down. When they wash the wool after it's woven, then they have to wash the wool. And then they have to comb the wool. After it's dried, it has to be combed because all the fibers of the wool have to lay flat. You know when you touch a finely made woolen piece, you can tell there's a direction in the texture. And especially if it's a kind of loden type of wool, which means its origins are in Austria and Germany, where it's long, hard fibers that keep the rain off of you because they're smoothed down in one direction. And the rain just runs right off. And the lanolin in the wool also resists the water soaking in. So in Scotland, after the wool is ready to be in its finishing processes, it goes, these two men will hold the sides of the big long roll of wool, and it goes underneath, the wool is pulled underneath a huge barrel. It must be about 10 feet in diameter, a huge round barrel. And you can see right through it. You see, it's just an outside shell made of wood. And guess what? The whole outer side of the barrel, of this big rolling barrel, all the way up, all the way around, all the way down and under, the whole thing is covered in Teasels. These Teasels are taken off with no leaves on them, just the Teasel center part, and they're all in rows. Imagine these, row after row after row after row after row. Next, row after row after row after row after row. Next, row, all the way across this big, wide turning barrel. And as the men pull the fabric, one man over there, one here, underneath the roll, it turns, and the Teasels brush the wool in one direction. The big wheel stays in one place, and they pull the fabric under it, and the fabric comes out with this beautiful, smooth finish of all the fibers in one direction. Isn't that great? So now, actually, I wasn't going to tell you about that, but we happen to be walking by this way. See, all the asparagus is gone now. but it was delicious. Oh, here's one piece of asparagus left. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's so sweet. And tender. That was great. That was lunch. Okay. These are picked too soon. They're way too small. These will get to be big, huge onions. Big purple onions and big white onions. We'll enjoy them. They'll be great anyway. I think I can pick them without digging. Yeah. Oh, these are so tiny. It just doesn't seem... It seems like they... Yeah. Anyway, these are great little onions because you can just chop up the whole thing and use every bit of it. Like everybody, I love to make pesto with basil. It's so delicious, and you can preserve it and use it all winter long on your potatoes and your meatloaf, on your pasta. But I've realized lately, do you see this mint? It has a square stem, just like basil. They're in the same family. And so I've made a chocolate cake with creamed basil in it, and it tastes like a warm, earthy mint. And now I think it would be fun to do a mixture of mint and basil if I have a lot of mint, because they both have that square stem. They're related to each other. And you wouldn't think that basil tastes like mint, but it has just the earthiest taste still with mint. So that's what we have, both chocolate basil cake with mint as well and pesto. More. This is a good place to go hunting for earthworms, for fishing. They're right in here, living down in here. You know, I was just thinking, let's see. See all the worms? Aw. There's some more potato here. These are just right for eating. Yes. Look at these beautiful potatoes. A lot of times when I tell you stories, I tell you about things that I think of that happened before. But today, I thought of something that just happened yesterday. And it is such a great story to me. We had to go to the market early in the morning so we could get bread and cheese and things that we could use for eating whilst we're up here. It's very difficult to eat up here because we don't have a stove. We only have a microwave where we're staying in this beautiful little cottage in the village. And it has a microwave and it has a toaster. And so we thought, what can we eat? And we even figured out how to cook noodles in the microwave. And they actually came out perfectly. So that was great. But anyway, that's beside the point. What we were doing at the market was looking for food that we could easily eat whilst we're here. And we left Zeno in the car, in the truck, in the cab of the truck. And I left the windows down because it was a warm day. And we were in the shade, but I wasn't sure how long the shade would last. So I knew that if he got too hot, he would jump out. But he doesn't run away. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. So a lady was driving along the highway and she saw a white cat jump out of a truck. And she got off the highway at the stoplight that was nearest by, turned around onto the road and up into where the little market was and looked for the truck. And the truck had moved because we were already packing it up. And she drove up to us and she said, "Did you have a white cat?" And we said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, I saw him jump out of the truck and I thought I better come and tell you." And she said, "He went around that way," around the other side of the building. Of course, he went to the shady side of the building to lie in the grass. And we ran and got him. And I just thought how wonderful it was to see this lady see a cat jump out of a truck. I'm sure she had a busy day just like everybody else. And she went in at the stoplight, came in, found us. And when she found us and told us where he was and saw us carrying him back, she just smiled and waved and drove away. And I just thought, what a great thing. Because, I don't know, it's just, we don't often stop and be grateful for these amazing things that happen every single day, every minute of every day. And I always find that if I stop and express gratitude, I actually find more things that I can be glad about. Oh, they're like jewels. No, there aren't any little bugs down here in the water. There are no bugs hanging around, little nattery bugs. It's so refreshing. when Joe gives us potatoes already perfect, I'm going to remember how much effort goes into the love that it takes to give these potatoes to somebody, because it really takes a lot of love, and it's really fun and special doing it. Each one becomes special. And you know what? It's almost time for the state fair, and that is where we eat salt potatoes. Everybody has salt potatoes at the state fair, and these little ones are going to be the best of all. We can be the prize-winning salt potato family. So I can't wait. It's just the right timing. Okay, and if you want, my channel mammals will bring you to the fair with us. Want to? Oh, usually Richard and Heather and I and anybody else who wanted to come along went to the fair every year. But we haven't been in a couple of years because they wouldn't let people go to the fair. So now I think they don't think they can keep us away anymore. They try. Here we go. The last batch. Look at the color and the light. Goodbye, my channel mammals. We'll meet again soon. Who knows what we'll be doing next time? It'll be a surprise for sure.